Our largest classroom, the gym, is full every single minute of the day. So someone said that on average, we have about enough, we have enough space. I'm 5'4". If you put me with 4 other 7-foot guys, on average, I'm a great center. It just doesn't work that way. So the last referendum, the board was accused of scaring people, saying you're going to move the 5th graders up to 6th grade. And it wasn't a scare tactic. It's happening today. It will continue to be part of our reality until we do something else for space. We need to continue to plan. So like it or not, I honestly believe that we are going to have to go back to the community again with a better reason, a clearer reason as to why this is good for the district, why it's good for the students, why it's good for education in West Bend.
Thank you. Doug Rakowski, same question.
I tend to agree with Randy in that the term overcrowding is a very subjective term. I've not sat in the classrooms, so I can't tell for sure. But I feel that what we need to do is re-examine much more closely the space requirements, look at alternatives that we may have, and then if we determine that we need more space and we have to build it, we have to go to the taxpayers. But in business for the last 30, 40 years, what I've noticed is that any company that I've worked for, anytime you build a new building, in about 1 year, that space is full. And you can plan to have extra space, but you fill the space you have. I think we all do it at home. Does anybody at home here have extra space where they can put stuff? I don't think so. If you put an addition onto your house, all of a sudden it's full of stuff. And I'm not saying our students are stuff, but I do think we need to take a much harder look at how we allocate our space, and then if we really determine it's necessary, put it up to the voters. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy VanEerden.
Well, that's true that we've had challenges and that we've moved all of the Fair Park 5th graders to Silverbrook. They call themselves Silver Park now, I guess. I challenged some of the other candidates to tour some of the schools with me, come over to Badger. We've got, at last count, over 30 classes of 30 students or more. And the rooms are clearly small, and there's not potential to pack 45 students in a room. During my years on the board, we've looked at a variety of alternatives for space. We've looked carefully at enrollment projections through detailed studies, and we acknowledge that we need to continue to look at that. We have made creative use of space. We've added trailers. We have instruction in classroom hallways. It's not ideal or productive. A #1 focus for me is student safety. As Lynn said, we break fire code, and as someone in healthcare, that certainly is a concern. I would say that we'll continue to monitor enrollments, but we know with the projections that our enrollments will continue to increase, and with that will come a need for additional space.
Thank you. Doug Ziegler, same question.
Well, I think that one of the things that needs to be looked at before space is making sure that our buildings are up to date, just as in Badger. I went to high school there, I don't know how many years ago, it was a long time. And there were deficiencies at that time, and obviously there are more deficiencies, or were more deficiencies today. And so I think that's very important. I know towards the end of my term, it was forecast that we were going to be out of space all over the place because we had such a fast growing enrollment. We had more industry in town and more people were moving in with kids, and we had to find space for them. But what happened was that for a short time it went up, but then it went down for a number of years, and now it's going back up, and we're finally back about the 7,000 student level that we had back in 1968 or 69. when we decided to go to the two-school system that we know today. As far as, I would cite Jackson as a place where we need, 40 years ago we were talking about the inadequacy of the facilities down there. And I don't know to what extent they've been taken care of since, but I believe that that's an example.
Thank you. Dave Weigand?
Well, this morning, Doug and I and Randy went over to the residents of Cedar Ridge, and we spoke with those folks there, and about 50 in that room or so, and come to find out that a lot of those people there were educated in a one-room schoolhouse, I understand, and some of them came up and said, asked me about that, and how in the world did you learn anything in that one-room schoolhouse? And they went on to be successful in their careers. Most of them are, business people, business women. College. They went to college. They were educated. I question the overcrowding accuracy of that statement. But here's what really the question really is this: if we do believe this to be true, or if this present board believes this to be true, then why would you agree to a Badger referendum? And 7-0 was they were all in unison on this one. A Badger referendum that lacked foresight in building for the future. Here we have a building that we're spending $27 million on, and it has no increase in student capacity. So if they're really sincere about the overcrowding, they would have addressed at least someone of that board. A 7-0, they were lockstep on this. 7-0 voted, we need to have the Badger addition put on. Oh, but I forgot, we didn't increase the student capacity. That must have been an oversight on our part. So I think the lack of foresight on this present board for building for the future. And like Randy said, you can never build enough. Again, take care of the buildings you have also. Don't let them be run down to the point where you have to then tear them down. Add some improvements every year until you bring those up to, if they're code violations or whatever. Spend the money in the budget to bring those up. Thank you.